the world. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not calling anyone to any group. I'm calling us to a way, an understanding of the deen. How do you live Islam? Not according to Maulana X or Ammo B. According to the Sahaba and the Atba' al-Tabi'een and Atba' al-Tabi'een, including the 4 Imams and others. Whoever was correct among them. Until this day. So this is a way of life that has been established by so many individuals that were rightly guided, that you can never go wrong if you follow their way. We may make mistakes in fiqh issues, but if we're following the grounds and the establishments of the Sahaba in terms of the usul, then we are okay. The difference of fiqh issues does not take us out of that. It doesn't mean that we all pray exactly the same way. Right? We all stand in salah and it's exactly the same, because you may follow an opinion which mentions that after the ruku' you put your hands on your chest, and another one says that you keep them down. Both is from the way of the righteous predecessors per the understanding of the textual evidence. Right? So we're not going to become replicas of one another, and it doesn't mean that we will never disagree. However, we all have a common understanding of Islam, which is the way of these early generations that were praised by Allah, praised by the Prophet ﷺ, is the way that will take us back to the honor that they had. This is common sense. It doesn't take a philosopher. We've dealt with this in previous lectures. It's called the righteous predecessors, where we explain that the way of the righteous predecessors is the only way that will revive Islam, and the only way that will guarantee us Jannah. That is the way that we are calling to, bi'idhnillahi azza wa jal. So what did the Salaf say concerning that? Al-Fudayl ibn Ayyad rahimahullah ta'ala used to say, doing an action for the sake of people is shirk. And avoiding doing an action, not doing it for the sake of people, is riya. Sincerity is that Allah saves you from both. And we will deal with that. The mistake of people leaving alone good deeds, because now I'm afraid of shirk. So come give a lecture, if you qualified, come give da'wah. Say, Akhi, wallah, I think my intentions are not sound. Ma'lish, I don't want to give da'wah anymore until I fix myself. Or I will no longer do these voluntary acts of worship because I don't think I'm sincere. This is from the other tricks of the shaitan. He wants us to abandon good deeds and righteousness. So he says, you're not sincere, leave it alone for the sincere people. That's a big no-no. Rather, you have to do this deed. And you strive, you struggle. You work with yourself to be sincere for the sake of Allah. The deed is not abandoned. So this is why he said, leaving it alone for the sake of people is riyah. Because you're still doing it for the people. Your leaving alone is for the people. We're falling into the same hole, which is having others in mind with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This should never be the case. Yaqub al-Makfuf used to say, the sincere person is the one who hides his good deeds the same way he hides his bad deeds. And let's measure ourselves according to this yardstick. If you want to hide your good deeds the same way you like to hide your bad deeds, you're sincere. If we like to hide our bad deeds because we have them, but we don't mind people seeing our good deeds, we're not sincere. Dangerous indeed. Abu Uthman used to say, sincerity is forgetting the sight of the creation and continually being mindful of Allah, continually observing Allah. This is what it means. And some of the ulama said, if you want to remove shirk from your life, riya from your life, then consider the opinion of the human beings like that of the animals. Consider the opinion of people, not that the people are animals. Their opinion is equal to that of the animals, meaning it doesn't benefit you or harm you, what a cow thinks about you, right? What matters is what Allah thinks about you. So if you look at the people in this fashion, you don't have to worry about it. I don't care what they think. I don't care whether they like my ibadah or they don't. I don't care whether they see me. In fact, I don't want them to see me. And I don't want them to know what I do on my own. I don't want them to know I did umrah. I don't want them to know I did hajj. I don't want them to know I did i'tikaf. Nowadays it's the other way around. Brother, I'm doing i'tikaf. Brother, don't tell me. If your i'tikaf is for the sake of Allah, and I'm not working with you, so I will inform the manager, why are you telling me what you're doing? This is not the way of the Salaf. Some of them will be reading the Quran in the masjid, and somebody will walk in, and he will hide it in the stove. They don't want someone to see them read the Quran. Others, he will be sleeping next to his wife, and his pillow will be soaked with tears, and his wife doesn't know. Another one will wait for his wife to go to sleep, his wife, and he will sneak out of the bed to do qiyam. His wife doesn't know. One of them was continued to fast, voluntary fast for 20 years. His wife will give him breakfast in the morning, he will go give it as a sadaqah, lunch. He will go to work, give it as a sadaqah, come home around Maghrib time, and he eats. His wife thinks this is his dinner. He's fasting. His wife doesn't know. I mean, these were the people. What about me and you? It's the other way around. Not only we're not that good, but we are the opposite way, wal-'iyadu billah. And this is, as the ulama say, the difference between the later generations and the early generations. They had sincerity, akhi and ukhti. They had it for the sake of Allah. They didn't care about the dunya. We are on the opposite side of the coin. We love the dunya so much that there's barely any room for sincerity. But it doesn't mean it's not attainable. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It is. There are sincere individuals today. Many of the ulama and the students of knowledge and the common people are sincere for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is attainable, but we have to be knowledgeable of it, and we have to strive accordingly. Ibrahim ibn al-Adham used to say, he has not been truthful to Allah, the one who seeks fame and recognition. Not truthful to Allah. Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak used to say, maybe a small deed will become big because of the niyyah, the intention. And a big deed will become small because of the niyyah. Meaning small deed that is for the sake of Allah, 1 riyal, for the sake of Allah, could save someone from Jahannam and permit him in Jannah. And 10,000 riyals may take him to Jahannam. Because when he gave it away, he was trying to have the people say, hey, I am rich. And we know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ about the first 3 who will be entering the hellfire. The first 3 types of people is the mujahid, and the alim, and the qari, and the mutasaddiq. And the hadith is sahih in Muslim, that this person will be brought so he may be judged. And Allah Azza wa Jal will remind him of His favors upon him. Allah will remind him of His favors upon him. He will admit them. Then Allah will say, what did you do? He will say, the mujahid, oh Allah, I fought in your cause until I was killed. And it will be said to him, you lied. You fought, so the people will say that you were brave. And indeed, they said that you were brave. Then he will be dragged on his face to the hellfire. The second one on the list is talibul ilm wa qari al-Qur'an. The one who used to seek knowledge and the one who used to recite the Qur'an. It will be said, Allah will remind him of His favors upon him. He will admit. Then he will say, what have you done with them? He will say, oh Allah, I learned the knowledge and I taught it for your sake. I recited the Qur'an and taught it for your sake. It will be said to him, you lied. Rather, you taught knowledge, so people will say that you are knowledgeable. And you recited the Qur'an, so they will say that you are a qari. And they said that you were a qari and knowledgeable, then he will be dragged on his face to Jahannam. And the last one is the one with the sadaqah. Same thing. He will say he gave it for the sake of Allah. It will be said you lied. You gave it for the people to say, MashaAllah, very generous brother. And he will be dragged on his face to Jahannam. The first people that will enter Jahannam, wal-'iyadhu billah, will be the mujahid and the alim and the qari of the Qur'an and mutasaddiq. That shows you how serious this affair is. But we almost never discuss it, right? It's like we're living in la la land, as they say. Everything is good, yallah, we just have fun, ibadah. But we don't focus on this issue which may destroy everything we're doing, right? So inshallah, Allah blessed us with this opportunity as a speaker and as audience to deal with this issue. Perhaps we will, fix our situation before it's too late, and maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have mercy on us, and we will enter Jannah accordingly. Shaykh al-Albani, the famous muhaddith, rahmatullahi alayh, and he became very famous.